So on this week's episode of Be More Super, the podcast, we've got a great guest. She has starred in one of the longest running shows currently, which is going to be ending very soon, which I'm absolutely gutted about. It's a wonderful Kim Rhodes that plays Jody Mills. Kim, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
You know what? I am fine. It's my wedding anniversary today.
Happy anniversary. What number?
9.
Well done.
So it's good. I've got past the 7-year itch, which is really good. She still likes me, sort of, but we've got 2 beautiful little girls that, run as ragged. I've got a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old now. She only turned 3 the other day. So,
Oh,
so literally they're like divas. So they keep us on our toes. Always wanting everything. But we're here to talk about you because, over these many years, I've enjoyed the show Supernatural. I think it's one of the best shows out on TV at the moment. And sadly, it's going to leave our site forever.
it
Unless, of course, you buy the DVDs.
yes, it will culminate as a show, but I think one of the things that's kept it going for so long, and one of the reasons that it's such a unique entity in the entertainment world, is the fandom. And I have no doubt that this fandom will stay together and passionate and focused, and still find a way to keep the spirit of Supernatural going.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I can't believe it started in 2005.
Yeah.
That seems a lifetime ago. I mean, I lived in 2 countries by then, and obviously I've got 2 girls, and now it's leaving us. So, Kim, let's talk about you because you're from Portland originally, and
Yes.
now you live in the wonderful, place of LA. Um,
Yes.
what got you into acting? What point did you think, you know what, I want to
Oh,
be an actor?
well, I'll tell you, I'm very, very honest with this. What got me into acting is not what keeps me in acting. What got me into acting was a need for validation and for the security of knowing what I was about to say and what the person across from me was about to say. And yet I could still have a bunch of feelings, but in a safe environment.
Yeah,
And I got into it for that. I stayed in it because I discovered the joy of storytelling. I discovered a connection within that allowed me to really express something kind of primal and fundamental in a unique way, and to work with a to work in a community where we all bring something unique, something valuable, and make a cohesive thing out of it. And that includes, again, the audience.
yeah.
Communication is a two-way street, and I think it's very easy in television for us to forget who we actually work for. And again, I love having such a vibrant audience with this show because I never lose who I'm working for. I always remember the gift and being of service to the story as well as to the audience. So that's why I continued acting.
Good, and I'm glad you did. So obviously your journey from Portland to Hollywood, as they say, how was that for you? Because a lot of people say the streets are paved with gold, and
Mm.
Hollywood is where your dreams come true. But what is the reality of LA?
Yeah. Oh, well, I took the extended dance remix route to LA. I went from Portland, Oregon down to I did undergrad in Ashland, Oregon, which was the first time I encountered Shakespeare as an undergrad. So that's when I started acting, was around the age of 18, 19. And then I went to Philadelphia for graduate school, and I was still focused primarily on stage and theater acting. And so I moved up to New York after Philadelphia with a little tiny detour into Spring Green, Wisconsin, where I did still one of my favorite places I've ever worked, and did Shakespeare there. I went up to New York and got on a soap opera. And that was the first television that I ever did. And I quickly discovered the delights and wonders that come with being able to pay your rent.
Yeah.
So the soap opera I was on there was canceled. And I figured if I was ever going to move to LA, I should move to LA while I still had some good years left in me. Spoiler alert, they're gone. By the time you're 30, they're gone. They're gone. Those are no longer good
Right.
years. They're all gone. So I came to LA and kind of turned into sitcom mom. And I worked for a few years on a Disney Channel show. I did a lot of guest spots on uh, multicam comedies, but I aged out of that too. And the real, it's funny because when I had my Supernatural audition, my stage work came back into play, because stage, you really need to hit the back of the house. You really need to be willing to make stage work, and quite frankly, the soap opera stuff, you need to be able to make extreme yet grounded choices. You need to tell the story and serve the story and make it about the story and not about your wacky hijinks. And that came back around with Supernatural. And so getting to ride out, I was on Supernatural for 10 years, once or twice
Yeah.
a year. And it was a great, it kept my health insurance, kept my rent.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. But acting in general, boy, if you're waiting for something to make you happy in the process, you're kind of fucked, because there is no guaranteed outcome ever. And I
Yeah.
constantly have to look at the moment I'm in and say, well, am I happy in this moment? Because who knows what the next one's going to bring. And especially right now, I mean, the show that's been my bread and butter is gone. And I'm not getting a lot of phone calls,
Yeah.
because there is definitely the truth of an industry that still has a specific perspective that they like to tell stories from.
Mm.
And so I'm not a hot commodity.
And of course, the industry at the moment is very shattered in many ways because, you know, not a lot of shows are, well, they're slowly going back into production now. So auditioning, previous stars that I've spoken to, they've said they've been doing a lot of video, auditions. Are you doing many of those, or do
Um,
you miss the in-person auditions?
the no, no, I hate auditioning. I am not a good audition. Like, there is no way I'm not a good auditioner. I do not miss auditioning. The self tapes, I actually, honestly, have been doing a lot of auditioning for voiceovers. In
Oh, excellent.
COVID, I had the incredible fortune of meeting up with a really wonderful voiceover agency. And so they have been sending me things that are keeping me so joyously entertained. And I've done a couple of video games.
Oh,
And
I,
I get to be
oh, I'm losing you. I think I've lost you. Are you there? Oh, technology is not on my side. Hello?
am I there? Happen? You hear me?
Oh,
Hold on.
yes,
Oh, am I
yes,
back?
yeah,
Okay.
yes, you're
That's
back.
the Wi-Fi.
Hello.
That's the
Yes.
Wi-Fi.
So you've been doing wonderful computer games,
Yes.
for voiceover. How difficult is that? Because again, I suppose everyone's got a voice, so I can imagine that being more challenging to actually get that work.
It's, well, yes. It's a narrow industry. However, I uh I very naturally, like, honestly, I found my agent at the dog park. We would just hang out at the dog park,
Okay.
and I cannot watch animals interact without giving them voices. And so I wasn't conscious. I wasn't like I was auditioning for her. It's just how I communicate. I'm crazy and my life is a cartoon. Like I am a walking fucking cartoon. And so I'm gonna get that thing, and that goddamn ball keeps getting away from me. And she finally was like, do you have a voiceover agent? I said, I do. I just don't, it's hard to break it. She goes, send me your stuff. And
Wow.
it worked out beautifully. And so with the voiceover stuff, again, it's a matter of really just committing. And the other thing is my 12-year-old watches a lot of cartoons. So I understand when they say, okay, this is what we need. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I got it. And it comes back to the stage. I had a lot of speech training for stage. So if you say it's a little more of this dialect, or it's a little more of in that part of your, or it's vocal fry, I know what that means. And I can, all right, well, let's try that.
And when you say you're over the hill at the age of 30 in Hollywood, the great thing about doing voiceover, I mean, look at Nancy Cartwright that does Bart Simpson.
Yep.
So you could be working till you're 80, 90 years old, and
Yes,
it's a great industry to be in.
Unfortunately, that also means that there's no openings showing up in the near future. It's like, oh yeah, she's not going to age out of any of this. All right.
So let's talk about Supernatural. Let's talk about the enigma that is Supernatural. Why do you think it's been so popular over the last many years?
Oh, well, the fandom, the people who love it. Now, why do they love it? That's an excellent question. I can only speculate from what I love about it. And I think that there are so many of us in this world right now that experience, I think there's two things. I think there's a lot of us that experience nameless fear that we have to confront on a daily basis. And I think we experience a need for family that goes beyond our family of origin. And Supernatural addresses both of those. It's like, no, there is big scary out there, and we're gonna go fucking kill it today. And what does family mean? What does family of origin mean? How do we behave as a family? How do we adopt more into the family? What truly is my heart family? And that is, it's kind of an evergreen theme, but Supernatural really beautifully articulated it. And I think that's one of the reasons that it's been so successful and so long lived, because family dynamics are mutable, and we learn and we grow and we pull apart and we come together and we absorb other people into our families, and that changes the dynamics. And so something that, how many monsters can you kill? That was kind of secondary to the relationships that were built.
And it was great that it just kept on giving, year after year after year. It didn't. A lot of shows, they sort of get diluted. I would say like the Walking Dead. When that started, it was an absolutely awesome show. And then personally, for me, it sort of lulled out a bit. Then, got better. But with Supernatural, it's always had that climax coming season after season after season. And I just think it's fantastic. So you play Sheriff Jody Mills, and your character arc is unbelievable in the show. You start off with a husband and a son, and then all of a sudden you take this enormous journey. How did you actually get the role of Jody Mills? How did you get the actual role of it?
She was just supposed to be a one-time, a guest star, and this was I vividly remember the audition because there were 8 of us. They clearly hadn't decided what they wanted as a physical type for Jody. So there were 8 flavors of mom. And the scene that we were auditioning with was where she finds her son eating her husband because her son's a zombie, and she runs out, and Sam basically is like, gotta shoot him in the head. What are we gonna do? so that's the scene. It's kind of like Go Big or Go Home. And I remember as the casting director walked past, one of the other women said, "Are we going to take this scene all the way through?" And he said, "Yes." And she goes, "That's impossible. Nobody can do this." And he just went, "It's supernatural." And he kept on walking. And I went, "Oh, this is mine. I can do this. I can do this." And in the scene, originally as written, Sam offers the gun to Jody. Like, "It's your child. Do you want to do this?" And in the scene, I took the gun because I was like, only a mother would love her child enough to do that. And in the script, the way it was ultimately done is that Sam did it for her, which at the time, I didn't know this, but it really made a foundation for Sam and Jody's love for each other. Like, the fact that he saved her from that experience, even though he didn't know her, and that she was able to entrust him with her child's well-being, like, established everything between the two of them moving forward. They understood. They're always, and Jared is such a generous actor that was always present when we were on screen together. There was always just an understanding of, oh, we're good. We're good forever and ever and ever. And it was, and so that it was interesting then to contrast that with the dynamic of Jody and Sam, who Sam doesn't need any mother figures. Like, what's he gonna do? Like, fuck mother figures. And Jody coming in and being like, "I'm not trying to be your mom. I'm trying to be your friend. I will not talk to you. I will listen to you. I will show up. And I see you. And I'm not trying to make you be anything other than what you are." So it was lovely to have those two arcs, brothers, and yet such different trajectories of the character.
Definitely. I mean, you joined in season 5. Did you watch the show before you actually, you started filming?
I did. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean, what was it like joining such an established cast, going in on your first day of shooting?
Well, it was my first day of shooting. It was like, that's what I'd done. You show up a week here, a week there, a week there. Like, I was just a journeyman actor, and that's what I did. So I didn't expect anything. It wasn't until Jared and Jensen hit the set, and the first question Jensen asked me, because the scene that we shot first was everybody I know and love burning on a funeral pyre. So, just a little bit of emotional connection. And the first question he asked me was, "What do you need?" It was like, "But you're the, I don't know if you've seen your contract or the call sheet, but you're the important ones. My job is to make you look good and then fuck off and go home and everybody forgets about me." And that's not the way Supernatural worked. And then when they started calling me back, every single time I was like, "Can I see the script before I say yes? Because I'm pretty sure you're killing me." "Oh, are you going to kill me today?" "Oh, There was one episode where I went on a date with Crowley, and I wasn't mentioned again in the script, and it was the last episode of the season. So I was convinced that I was dead. I was like, nope, it doesn't say it. It doesn't say I'm still alive. I'm dead. I'm pretty sure I'm dead.
Bless you. And when did you find out that you were coming back? After, sort of when you filmed season.
Yeah, they keep things really tight to the vest. It wasn't until 2 weeks before I was doing Canada again that they were like, "Hey, they want you back." And I was like, do you have the wrong phone number? I don't know why they would possibly need me. And and indeed they were like, "Huh, that little gal's got some chutzpah. Let's bring her in."
And do you share anything with Jody in real life? Do you share any things with that character?
We both have the incredible capacity to find more room in our home for homeless things. Come on in. For a while there was, when I had a house, we're in an apartment now, but back when I owned a home, my husband at one point threatened to get a vasectomy if I didn't quit taking home stray dogs. He's like, no more dogs or no babies. I can't do this anymore.
Do you know what? That's exactly what I say to the wife. We keep getting cats, and there's more cats in this house than there is people. But do you know what? I wouldn't change it for the world. They're lovely cats. They're cheeky. So with Supernatural finishing, and obviously we all got very excited about the Wayward Sisters, and then
Oh,
obviously it got shelved. I mean, what are they playing at? I mean, the fans want it, so surely we should get it.
oh no. No, that's not the way Hollywood works. There are more things that go into a decision than the product. And so it's also about like you could be the best sushi chef in the world, but McDonald's is not going to hire you. You
Mm,
know, it's is that, does it fill the slot that the CW needed? Does it actually hire the writers that the CW needs to keep in their stable? Does it incorporate all of the people who contribute to the stream of production? Like, you know, where is it going to fit, and how many pockets is it going to fill? And I
mm,
just think ultimately Wayward was not a product that they felt suited what they wanted to sell.
mm.
It has no bearing on the fans. I don't think it has any reflection on whether or not it was a decent product. I think it just ultimately was, they said this isn't what we want to sell.
Yeah. I mean, where would you have liked the show to have gone? You know, if they did actually start making it.
Oh, I didn't afford myself that. I mean, ultimately, the great news is the writers are much better writers than I am. So all I know is that I didn't want it to turn into sad mom Jody sitting at home cooking soup, hoping her girls don't die. Like, that
Yeah.
was the one thing I didn't want to see happen. Is like, girls, make sure you pack your salt. Like that. That's not fun. I wanted Jody to stay a mentor figure
Yeah.
in how to be a badass. But it, everybody's doing well in different ways. And I will say the great thing is the outpouring of support for the show really helped illustrate what a call there is for badass female characters. Um, I think we then saw, I'm not taking credit for this, but I am saying that their eyes were opened to the power of female ensembles.
Yeah.
And that, I can only, like, I mean, oof, I also cry a lot. I mean this very sincerely. I would rather celebrate a win from the sidelines than to come across the finish line last.
Mm. Yeah.
Like we did it. We got it. That show was created because the fans asked for it. Nobody has ever fucking made a pilot because it had requests.
Yeah.
And I think it stepped how females are seen in the genre forward so that it will serve all storytelling. It means
Yeah.
that sometimes you come home on your shield and not with it, but that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I praise any show that has a strong female sort of characters in them, because I want for my daughters when they get older to see strong female characters, you know, to look at and actually look up to. I think it's fantastic about the show that, you know, yeah, it's about Dean and Sam, but you get characters like yourselves that are very you know, just amazing. I mean, when we talk about fans, so let's talk about conventions, because obviously fans are itching at the moment to get to conventions, and with all COVID happening,
Oh, yeah.
it's quite difficult. Have you got any virtual Comic Cons lined up at all?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Oh, there we go. There's a chance for someone out there to grab you for a virtual Comic Con. because there's loads happening, especially for shows like Smallville. And you know what? I would have thought that there would have been one
Well, they do
for you and
creation is doing supernatural conventions virtually.
right,
However, they're kind of cycling through the B list. um,
right,
because they don't because you don't have time or finances to pay everybody to do everything, and so the ancillary characters are kind of being parceled out.
right.
But creation's doing some. I joined Cameo, so
This is
I get to.
this is what I was going to talk about, Cameo, because you're on Cameo now. I was going to ask how is it going, because
I
it's a
love
great
it.
concept. Yeah,
I love it so much. And honestly, what's so funny is that I, for some reason, thought I was going to be talking to people I don't know. And it's all of my favorites from the conventions. It's people that are like, I know you, or I've been introduced to a few people that haven't been able to get to conventions, but I interact with them on Twitter, or new people that are kind of like, huh, what's this lady about? And then I get to actually show up as me, and actually just have that connection. And especially right now with COVID, where I'm aching for connection. And
yeah,
so it's really a testament to the creativity of the human spirit that we're finding ways to continue connecting. And I love it. I'm on a quick break on Cameo right now because I'm gonna do something different for October. It's fun, it's amusing, and it always baffles me that people want to hear what I have to say. That just surprises me. And so it's another exercise in being as authentic as I can. Ah, that word is getting so overused, but what I mean is I want to show up with my heart and not my
yeah,
ego. And
yeah.
I love practicing that.
Well, it's definitely a great idea, especially with everything going on. But you know, when you're at conventions, I notice you have some amazing tattoos, and I've always
Oh,
wondered. You see, yeah. I mean, which one is your favorite tattoo?
well, the ones that my daughter drew, I don't know if you can see. Hold on a second. I apologize for being in a sound booth. I didn't know
It's
I
all
was
right.
actually going to be on. So this is a blue morpho. You can't really. So this is the butterfly. This is the microscopic version of the scales, and this is her version of a blue morpho.
Oh,
So
that's
this is
awesome.
the butter, because I described my daughter as being a butterfly living in a caterpillar world. And then here is my crow right there, and there is her version of the crow.
That is awesome. Do you know what I really want to do that is get my girls to draw something on me and get it tattooed. I think it would be awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, have you had any convention goers get you to sign a part of their body and get it tattooed?
Yes.
Have
Yes.
you?
People have me write stuff and then they tattoo it, and it always scares the fuck out of me. Never tell me, here, for anyone listening, don't tell me until I'm done that it's going to be for a tattoo. Because as soon as you add that pressure to this brain, I'm like, I can't, I don't even know which end of the Sharpie goes on the paper. Stop, that's too much pressure. So if you're just like, hey, I want to have, wayward as fuck written, tattooed on me, just be like, could you sign this? Great. Thank you. And then show me the tattoo the next time you see me.
That is awesome. Do you know what I often thought about doing that? When meeting stars to get tattoos, but it's sort of like it's on your body forever. You've got to, I suppose, be really into that star, really into that show. Um, but I've only got a few. I want to get a few more, and my wife's getting her first one. Hopefully. But I think tattoos are fantastic. I'm dreading. I mean, your daughter, do you think she'll ever get a tattoo?
I don't, I don't, I can't answer you if you ask me if I thought she'd eat dinner. My
Right.
daughter is such an enigma to me that I'm like, I don't, she thinks they're stupid because mommy has them. So that might, but I don't care. Like this is one of the great things is that I can't be a person in this world who says I am going to express my insides with my outsides, and then turn around and tell her, you're not allowed to express the same way. Like,
Yeah.
she is her. So if she comes home and is like, I had my eyelid pierced, I'm going to be like, that's going to be uncomfortable, but let me know how it goes.
It's your choice. It's like my girls, as long as they're happy,
Yeah.
that's your point. It's all about the happiness. But no, that's awesome about the. What's the strangest thing you've actually wrote on someone's arm or leg or
Oh,
chest or head?
I, I, I have, okay. So it's funny because I get a lot of like, what's the strangest thing question? And, um, I can't, I don't see strange. I, when I am asked to contribute to a person's experience, it is always out of love. Like,
Yeah,
no one who hates me has ever said, here's some money just so I can get up in your face and say, fuck you. I mean, maybe somebody will after I've said that, but even then, there's a weird kind of attachment to that where it's like,
yeah,
wow, I meant that much to you? Wow, you
yeah,
really, you wanted to say fucking to me? Oh, thank you. Oh my God, I'm so glad I mean so much to you. I hope you find joy.
yeah,
Would you like me? I can cry if that would it make you feel better for me to be sad about that? I will. I'm sorry, that was the wrong response. Like,
yeah,
so different people who just love different ways, and different things mean different things to everybody, right? So I don't clock. Oh, that was weird. I'm just like, oh, and then my brain just moves on to the next one.
yeah. No, that's awesome. That is a good way to think. So what's next for you then? Before we wrap up this lovely interview, what is? I've got three more questions.
Okay.
So the first one, what is next for you? What are you working on at the moment? Have you written any movies? Because that tends to be, or are you just relaxing and riding those waves of life?
I'm teaching children horseback riding.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Do you know what? I went to a place once near Washington D.C. and they had a horse ranch that was designed, funnily enough, for kids that had behavioural problems to go, and they gave each one a horse. For the time that there was there, it was residential, and for that week they had to muck out the horse, take care of the horse, and I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm teaching little people and big people. I've got a couple of adult students, and that's what I'm doing. And we all mask up and we sanitize up and we stay 6 feet apart, and that's what I mean, because there isn't, like I said, there's not, nobody's banging on my door, but also nobody's given me an actual pink slip yet. Our
mm,
plans were to kind of move to Oregon and just be done with it, and then Oregon burned, so we're still here. So I'm just, right now, I'm still kind of just staying in, what does this moment have to offer? We are safe. We are as comfortable as we can be. And so I'm educating, I'm homeschooling my kid, and well, remote learning, but we are processing that.
yeah.
And I'm learning a lot myself, and I'm spending a lot of time with horses.
That is awesome. And what makes you mad, Kim? What makes you mad?
Oh, that's a deep
Oh,
question. No.
mm,
Um, I know what your question is, and I'm not going to answer it, because one of the things I am working on in my life and right now is recognizing that my personal anger is a secondary emotion. My anger doesn't come from outside. My anger comes from my response on the inside. So, what makes me angry is my grief and my fear. So these days, my practice, my meditation, moving through the world, when I feel, because there's a lot of shit that I feel angry about. But what makes me angry is I'm scared right now. I'm scared I won't have what I need to be okay. I'm afraid you're going to take what I need to be okay. I'm afraid that your opposition to me means one of us has to be right and I have to be right. So I have to fucking be okay. That's a
Yeah.
lie. That is a lie. Anger is in me for a purpose, but right now it doesn't serve me. So what makes me angry is being sad or being scared. And so I breathe it back in and go, okay, it's okay. It's okay. And it's helping a lot right now.
And the last question, what makes you happy?
Connection. Remembering that it isn't about me. Anytime I can get past the voice in my head that says, it's all my job, it's all my fault, and it's all about me. That's hell.
Yeah.
That's being alone in my head with the demons that are trying to kill me. So as soon as I can drop in and say, it's not about me, I might not even exist. How about where's the us in this
Hmm.
situation right here? There is joy in that.
Yeah, I mean, we're all in it together, and connection is definitely the way forward. Kim, you've been a great guest. I've really
Oh my
enjoyed speaking
gosh,
to you, and
thank
I'm so honoured
you.
as well because I am a massive fan. Please don't take any offence. I won't get you to sign any body parts. Um,
It's okay
who knows?
if
Maybe
it
in the
ever
future,
happens. Yeah.
if it ever happens, you'll see me and I'll get you to sign my elbow or something. Kim, all the best. I hope you keep all health and healthy and safe for you and the family. And yeah, all the best. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
And to you, my pleasure. This was wonderful. I really